Ever wanted to know how to get ahead financially so times like COVID 19 and other crises that naturally happen in life don't bankrupt you? Or maybe you are an aspiring entrepreneur or industry leader and you want to know what it takes to serve people on your terms and spend as much time with your family that you desire. Well, sometimes you don't need to create a product or service. What if you could leverage someone else's to grow your freedom?
It's fishing season in Alaska, or um, you know, I I wanted to go to Colorado to go snowboarding or whatnot, and I didn't want to take time out of vacation time. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, hey, no better way to do that than to make my own schedule and have a job, or to own a business that I can do that and literally work from anywhere that has an internet connection.
Welcome to the Veteran Owned Business Monthly Spotlight. My name is Chris Hoffman. I am the founder of the Ambitious Vet Network, Marine Corps combat veteran, and personal and professional development leader. Our mission here is to showcase and spotlight today's most gritty, determined, and inspiring veteran owned businesses who are boosting the American economy with their battle tested services, offerings, and products. You're going to hear their stories, failures, and how they rebuilt their missions. They're fulfilling them now after the uniform has come off.
It's time to get into the trenches, dig into your purpose, and fire up your life's fulfillment. The Ambitious Vet Podcast starts now.
What's going on, Ambitious Vet Nation? Chris Hoffman here, and I'm excited to bring in our first ever veteran business spotlight, where we seek to just showcase and spotlight some of the biggest veteran-owned businesses that we have been finding inside the trenches, always looking to serve the American economy, but also we're looking to boost their economy. So today we're going to have Joseph Gibbons from Gibbons Solutions, a Marine Corps veteran, spotlighted on today's episode. Joseph, man, welcome to the Veteran Business Spotlight.
Hey, Chris, good to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me. I really appreciate everything that you've done just since I met you back in 2016. You know, we've stayed in touch for 4 years now, and I'm glad to have you in Dallas with us now.
Yeah, bro, it's amazing, man. I mean, Ambitious Vets, this guy is one of the most effective dots connectors that I've been able to find in any city that I've either lived in, PCS'd into, or wherever. And immediately when I touched down, wheels down here in Dallas, me and my fiance, this man was already making introductions throughout the DFW area. So Joseph is the kind of guy that you want inside of your network. So at the very least, at the end of this conversation, make sure to connect with Joseph Gibbons on any social media platform so you can start narrowing the gap in where you're trying to go. So Joseph, man, you're a Marine Corps veteran, you're a crane eater just like me and probably a lot of listeners on the damn show, right? But let's dive into Gibbons Solutions, brother. What inspired you to start Gibbons Solutions and why this chosen industry?
Oh, man, that's a good question. I would say ultimately I started Gibbons Solutions because I love helping people. I'm the kind of guy, I mean, I grew up in Alaska. So I'm the kind of guy that when I see someone stopped on the side of the road due to a flat, broke down, whatever it is, I pull over and I see if they need help. I mean, in Alaska, it's a little bit more of a dire situation because you don't know how far behind the next car is that could maybe help you. But that's just how I was raised. You know, you stop and you help someone whether you know them or not. And so that's one reason why I really started Gibbons Solutions, is because there's so many services that I offer that it's not just another product. It's a lot of things that helps individuals or helps business owners. Also, you know, I was tired with doing the 9 to 5 work for corporate companies. I wanted to be able to go on vacation at any point in the year, whether it's fishing season in Alaska or you know, I wanted to go to Colorado to go snowboarding or whatnot. And I didn't want to take time out of vacation time. You know what I'm saying? So I figured, hey, no better way to do that than to make my own schedule and have a job, or to own a business that I can do that and literally work from anywhere that has an internet connection.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think you're speaking the ambitious vet language, which is freedom, right? And
Absolutely.
if you don't know how to get financial independence, you can't teach it, right? And it sounds like you've been able to not only get financial stability, but you're going back and you're teaching how to spread out the breadcrumbs, which is absolutely amazing. So Joseph, what inspires your work and what sets you apart from everyone else out there in the trenches doing exactly what you're doing?
Um, Number one is my family inspires me to do what I do. They inspired me to work from home. Yes, it is absolute chaos sometimes working from home with 4 kids. I have 4 kids, 3 boys and a little girl. My oldest isn't even 7 yet. So my oldest will be turning 7 here in June. And then my youngest, just 2 days later, will be turning 2. So we were 2 days away from having 4 kids that were 4 and under. Four kids, 4 and under. So
Wow.
it can definitely be a little chaotic, but I don't regret it a single bit. What sets me apart, I would think, is the fact that I'm not just pushing product. I look at each case comprehensively and see how I can help that individual or that business to be better off. Um, I offer a variety of services. I don't just do one, because maybe I can't help that one person one specific way, but I can help them in another way. So I think that sets me apart. Um, Being able to help with employee benefits, retirement income, legal services, that gives you access to high paid lawyers and attorneys for basically the price of a coffee a week. I don't have businesses, hard, or I don't just save businesses hard costs like money and taxes. I save them soft costs like education, retention, peace of mind. I mean, and you can't put a price on that.
No, you can't. And that's the things that everyone wants. That's what keeps us up at night is like the anxiety, the stress, and not knowing where we're going to end up, man, because, in today's age, retirement ain't always a promised thing, right? So retirement pensions and stuff like that. So you got to get ahead of that. So I definitely agree with all of that. Now, Joe, man, what is your background, right? In all this, how did you develop the skills to start your business? As we all know, people say a lot of things. There's a lot of talkers out there in the trenches, man. What are some practical skills that make you a successful business owner?
That's a great question, and probably a year and a half to 2 years ago, I wouldn't have known how to answer that. My background, to start off, I served in the Marines for 5 years. I was a plane captain on Cobra and Huey helicopters, making sure that they were safe for flight. So I inspected the whole aircraft before each flight, making sure that the pilot would return from their mission safely, and that they would be able to do their mission effectively without having to worry about, am I going to make it home safe? So at least from a mechanical standpoint, right? After that, I was a QA inspector on the F-35s at Lockheed Martin. And then I worked at Raytheon as a test technician on the MTSA and MTSB balls and their high-powered lasers. So I've been in the inspection industry for about 10 years now. And that's what makes me good at looking for the best options when it comes to benefits, retirement income protection, and other services that I provide. I look at everything to see if you're in the best spot for yourself and for your business.
That's awesome. I mean, what I hear is diligent, man. And I know if anybody's managing my finances, which is my family's well-being, and even, most people's peace of mind, to your point, right? I want to make sure that whoever's, analyzing all of the data is diligent, man. And I think that you having that inspecting skill set does definitely separate you from everyone else. Would you agree?
I do, and thank you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, for sure. So, what has been your biggest challenge, man, in growing your business? And what are some bulletproof tactics that you have learned to put in place to get ahead of, it moving forward? What are some of those landmines that we always talk about here?
Ooh. I'd have to say one of my biggest challenges, honestly, was drinking. Drinking was a huge challenge for me in getting focused on what I wanted in life, and for me and for my family. There was a point where I was drinking a fifth a day, and I was spiraling out of control, doing drugs, popping pills, doing cocaine. And it wasn't until I got that under control that I was really able to take control back of my life and my family and move forward. I know I may get some crap from the veteran community, but I want to send out a word of encouragement to any brothers and sisters out there who are struggling with alcohol and drugs. I mean, I would say a big part of being in the military, especially for enlisted people, would be that, you're working all day, go out, drink, weekend, drink. And so drinking is a huge backbone of camaraderie and getting together. So I know that when you get out, that can be a struggle. So I just want to offer a word of encouragement to those who are struggling with it, that there is a way out. And just me personally, I found mine through God. And when I realized I couldn't do it on my own and I leaned on him, that's when I started getting better.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, there's a lot in that, man. I mean, I think that we learn sometimes more through failures and setbacks and stuff like that than actual successes. So I know that anybody that's listening to this appreciates exactly what you just shared, man, because we've all hit that moment, man. I remember for myself, when I got out, it was definitely a drinking problem. I was living for the weekends, and I had no sense of what goal setting looked like. I didn't know how to manage my finances. I didn't know how to protect anything. It was more so just, how do I have fun and be adventurous and stuff like that. But then you find out that, when you're not protecting yourself and bad shit happens, it does, man. It costs more in the long run. So, yeah, man, I acknowledge you, man, for, being able to get ahead of that stuff, because not everyone does and overcomes it. So, Joe, I got a scenario for you, man. I'm an individual who has $1,000 in my pocket to invest into my future, so things like COVID-19 don't place me in a scary situation again, right? I want it to be liquid with no penalties if I need to access it, right? I just don't want to pay any penalties if I ever have to access it. I want it to be liquid, man. But I want it to compound interest. I want my money to work for me, right? Year after year. So if I have that right now, what would be your advice as far as next steps in having my $1,000 grow starting tomorrow?
Well, that's a great question. So the first thing that comes to mind would be an IUL, which is an indexed universal life policy. It allows you not to only have a life insurance policy in place, but it allows you to save for retirement at the same time, with compounding interest, which is usually about 9%, but as high as 18%. You may be thinking, how does this help me in the case of another market crash or, COVID-19 situation? And there are actually many different answers to that. But the two that stick out to me would be, one, it has a floor. So when everyone else's 401k and IRA and stocks are plummeting down in double digits, you don't drop below 0%. Also, there's no 59.5 rule, which is what most retirement plans have. So you can't take out money early, right? With this, you're able to access the money if you need to. And so if this is something, that concerns you or interests you, hop on a Zoom call with me so I can give you a financial analysis at no cost to you. And I just want to help. So let me see if you're in the best spot that you can be.
Great. Awesome. So what would I be able to walk away with on that Zoom call? Say, hey, I'm listening to this and I'm just like, yes, man, I want that. I want to make sure that I'm bulletproof. My finances, my future retirement, my future financial protection is secure. What would I walk away with in that Zoom call with you, Joe?
So the first Zoom call would probably be a series of Zoom calls. It'd probably be, the first and the second. The first one would just be education, and a discovery call of where are you at? This is what I do. This is how I can help you. And then I would get into the financial analysis, which this financial analysis, on average would be around $2,000 if someone was trying to get it done at, Merrill Lynch or something like that. And this is something that I do at no cost to be able to help people, because, 95% of the population isn't in that top 5% of people who have that kind of money to throw down just for a financial analysis. But a financial analysis is so important to know if you're where you need to be currently in life. If you're, spending money in places that you shouldn't be spending money, maybe I can help you shave down on your taxes, shave down on your debt to where we can put more away for retirement. And this analysis puts together a very comprehensive, it's about 8 pages, this analysis, to where It shows you where will you be in retirement. First off, when do you want to retire? That's a good question. Do you want to retire at 65, 60? So I put all of these variables in place on this financial analysis, and I get you on track for the best possible scenario, as long as you're willing to put in the work and the effort, and actually even to take that first step to get the analysis done. So by the end of that, the Zoom calls that we do, you would be walking away with a full financial analysis, knowing how much money you either need to shave off of your debt, which, potentially would be all of it, right? Because we want to get rid of debt, but where to put that money, how much money a year you should put in so that you can retire at the age you need to retire at. And then if you wanted to take the next step of actually putting a policy in place, I don't force anything upon you in that, but if you wanted to take that next step of moving forward on that, then I would definitely put a plan together and get a policy in place. You also do not pay me for that. I get paid by the carriers on that. So when you come to me, you're not paying me directly for any of that.
That's impressive. I used to do personal training back in the day, and I used to help mid-aged women get back in those little black dresses. And man, I could never show them how I could do that unless I did their body mass index. I had to get the what so before I could guide them along a plan for them to get the promised land, which was that little black dress. So, brother, I acknowledge you for being able to get the baseline data down, so then people can just know how to hit their promised land, man. I think I speak for everyone inside the veteran community, man. Thanks for being able to come in here and just figure out how do we get ahead of future crises that we may not be financially prepared for, right? Maybe this has us as a strong quality veteran audience, have us think ahead of potential challenges in the future that may come up, so we're not living month to month and stuff like that, because that's scary, man. Because if you're living month to month right now, wherever you're at in life, it's a tough, scary place to be, especially when there's not a lot of jobs and opportunity out there. So I definitely encourage anyone that's listening to this, if that's you that's listening to this right now, reach out to Gibbons Solutions. They're very well connected in the DFW area, and I'm sure he could probably even find a way to solve any of your financial needs or retirement needs, and even legal solutions nationwide. Joseph, man, how can people connect with you?
First off, if you wanted to go to my Facebook page, Gibbons Solutions, that's Gibbons Solutions with an S at the end. That Facebook page is probably where I'm most active, reaching out to people. Facebook Messenger is just a really easy way to get in contact with me. And like Chris said, I do help people nationwide. I'm helping people in Alaska right now. So if that puts any perspective in front of you, I hope that does. You can also go to my website, which is gibbonssolutions.com. If you just kind of want to take a look at my website, that will also, if you fill out that contact form, send me an email to get in contact with you. But probably the best way would be on Facebook, and that's Gibbons Solutions.
Awesome. Well, Ambitious Vet, if you're listening to this, go and check them out right now. See how you can help boost the American's economy by boosting a veteran-owned business. Joe, thanks for joining us, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
The Ambitious Vet is available on all popular podcast platforms. Go to vettrainingcoaching.com to subscribe, rate, and share with fellow vets.